A dramatic pivot in U.S. armored warfare doctrine has emerged. Abrams tank crews are now being instructed to engage enemy drones using their primary weapon systems. According to newly released U.S. Army guidance, crews of the M1A2 Abrams are being trained to use their 120mm cannons to target aerial threats, a stark acknowledgement of the mounting danger posed by cheap, fast, unmanned drones on modern battlefields. This adjustment, formalized in the Army's updated Tank Platoon Tactics Manual, highlights a pressing need to compensate for the gaps in short-range air defense (SHORAD) capabilities. As small drones and loitering munitions become standard elements of adversary arsenals, particularly in contested zones like Eastern Europe and the Indo-Pacific, the Army is improvising with what it already has, using legacy systems like the Abrams to cover roles far beyond their original intent. Central to this tactic is the repurposing of the M1028 canister round. Once intended for close-range anti-personnel use, this shell explodes into a wide spread of steel balls, which the Army now envisions as a tool for shredding low-flying drones in the tank's immediate vicinity. This marks a sharp evolution in doctrine. The Abrams, long confined to ground combat, is now being treated as a potential last-resort drone killer. While conceptually bold, this approach is not without controversy. Critics argue that the effectiveness of targeting drones, some barely larger than a football, with a manually aimed tank gun is highly questionable. Unlike purpose-built counter-UAV systems that integrate radar and automated tracking, the Abrams relies on visual identification and manual targeting, introducing significant limitations in accuracy and response time. The tank's cannon, while powerful, lacks the agility and precision of smaller, dedicated anti-air weapons. That said, the move underscores an important reality: tanks are increasingly vulnerable to small, nimble aerial threats. With adversaries deploying swarms of drones to harass, surveil, and even strike armored columns, the Army is scrambling to make its forces less exposed. The guidance to fire M1028 rounds at airborne targets, supplemented by heavy machine guns, reflects an urgent, if imperfect, solution to an escalating threat. Historically, the Abrams offered minimal anti-air capability, primarily through specialized munitions like the M830A1, which used proximity fuses for low-flying aircraft. But these were not designed to counter the twitchy flight patterns of modern quadcopters or FPV, first-person view, kamikaze drones. The new doctrine stretches the Abrams' utility as far as possible, even as the Army pushes forward with developing the M1E3 variant, expected to feature integrated electronic warfare tools and advanced active protection. Operationally, this shift demonstrates how legacy platforms are being squeezed for additional roles while the military waits for newer systems to reach full deployment. The Army's investment remains focused on future-proofing its armored force with improved detection systems, autonomous defenses, and drone-specific interceptors. For now, though, tank crews will practice firing at aerial targets, hoping to buy time with a strategy that is more stopgap than solution. Financially, the move doesn't represent a major spending increase. No contracts for new anti-drone tank variants have been issued. Instead, the change is doctrinal. Meanwhile, companies like General Dynamics continue upgrading the Abrams under the System Enhancement Package, even as full-scale modernization with the M1E3 looms on the horizon. At the strategic level, the U.S. military's choice to retool one of its most recognizable platforms for drone defense reveals deeper anxieties about the battlefield's future. With drone warfare rapidly redefining what's possible at the tactical level, even heavily armored vehicles are being forced to adapt or risk obsolescence. The idea of a 70-ton tank swatting at consumer-grade UAVs may seem surreal, but it's a reflection of how radically warfare is shifting. In an age where $500 drones can threaten multi-million-dollar assets, innovation sometimes means turning cannons skyward, and hoping it works.